I'm Justin Freed. This is episode 93 of inThirty. It is our second episode devoted to covering Google I/O 2013. I'm here with special guest Peter Teo. He is wearing Google Glass. Hi, Peter.
Hello.
Also in Google Glass is Haim Cohen of HaimTime.com.
Hello.
And Harry Marks of CuriousRat.com will end this episode by telling us the real fear that he has for what Google is planning. Maybe not at this I/O, maybe not at the next one, but eventually they're really going to screw with us. Okay, so that's the tease. This time we're going to cover Maps, the unification of Google Hangouts, and then hardware. So let's start with Maps. I think I was the hardest on Apple about Maps. Harry, you tried to defend them some. What's Google's take on it after kind of winning the Maps war, at least on iOS?
Well, they're overhauling Maps, so they gave it a whole new redesign. It's incorporating, so it uses the entire page of the web browser as the map, and it's supposed to get more intelligent as you keep using it. So here I'm reading from Macgasm. It'll do things like make a nearby bowling alley more visible on the map if you search for a bar that is close to it. It will also make locations you frequent, like your house and work, more prominent on the map so that you can use them as landmarks when going somewhere. So it's doing a lot more relative location searching based on what you search for in Google Maps.
So I've seen some interesting Facebook posts recently with people who are on Android being really surprised that their suggestions on their Android devices correspond with queries that they've made on their desktop. So that's only the tip of the iceberg as far as kind of bringing your mapping preferences to, integrating it into Google. Is that what this is about? Making sure that it can, based on the time of day and previous searches that you've made, Google's going to be able to figure out where you want to go next or something? I don't exactly get it.
I don't know. Peter, you want to take that one?
I'm not sure I quite got what the question was.
I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand what the increased context does for the end user. I mean, what does it figure out? How does it know what place I want to go to next? How does it know what a better route is based on my prior searches? I don't understand what.
Well, it's assuming you're tied into all of its services. You've got the Maps app on your phone. You've got Chrome logged in to your Google account, the same as your other accounts. So every app you use is tied into Google's backend in some way. So every search you run, every direction you seek is being tallied and pumped into the algorithm. So the next time you use it, it can give you more relevant information.
What does that include, though? It's easy for Google to say that the information is more relevant. What was the proof of concept? I mean,
well, how about this one? You search for something on your computer. You're looking for whatever it is, an appraisal that I'm about to do, or a new location. And then you go to your phone and you go on Google Now, and sometimes it's creepy and sometimes it's like, oh, it's refreshing. The location is there. So it's trying to aggregate where you go to most and try to give you more relevant results. I will probably never go to a yoga studio. I do not want them littering my feed when I type in for exercise. I want more gyms. If I put in restaurants and it knows that I'm not going to McDonald's, it'll bring up mainly kosher restaurants.
Okay, is that how they sold it at this keynote? Is that what Maps is doing? I mean,
most of what they sold was the redesign. It's incorporating some Google Earth features. Reviews from Zagat, Google Plus, Street View, so that it's everything we used to have plus a couple of new things, but it's. Here it is. You might be interested in. Okay, so based on your search history and places your friends have given good reviews, it'll pop up new locations for you to check out. It looks like it can actually track the routes you take, as it works in the background, kind of thing. It's really creepy, actually.
Peter, did
It's
you
taking what
catch?
you're doing. Yeah.
Peter, did you catch that there was a direct criticism, or maybe it was kind of subtle, but that they directly compared Google Maps to Maps on iOS in some capacity? Wasn't there?
I think there was a quick, one-liner jab at iOS maps, but I don't think they directly compared all the features.
Okay, so
No, they didn't. They're all vector-based now, though, too, which is nice.
so what? This is definitely kind of an iterative step, unifying, making location not this separate entity in your searches. It sounds like everything leads to a place that you're eventually going to go, so that's how Google's going to consider it. I'm trying to sum it up for myself so that by the time I read the Verge coverage, I'm not totally surprised.
How about this one? How about something as simple as they want to be the best mapping solution on any platform? Whatever that means to you.
That really is what they're going for here, and it will benefit you more the more you use Google to get things done. The more meetings you put on your calendar in Google Calendar, the more emails you get with directions from friends or addresses, the more you run searches for nearby bars and restaurants. That will all better populate the map you use. And the other thing they're doing with it is they're embracing WebGL and vectors. So this map doesn't function like a website with a map on it. They're really pushing for web apps, native web apps. So this whole new map overhaul is going to function and look like a native application.
Okay, so all right, it sounds cool, I guess. Is this something that Apple can ever even come close to providing as far as this kind of, I don't know, Star Trek-y anticipatory question answering through maps? Is the idea that if it comes to 5 p.m. And someone sent me an email saying they want to meet me at a bar in Midtown Manhattan, Google is going to alert me to the best route and the place that I should get gas along that route and the place that I should buy the type of food that I like also before I get to the bar or something. Is that what this is going for?
Well,
I think at some point it will.
Okay, so really pushing it into knowing you better than you know or knowing you like your mom knows you.
Well,
Let's just say.
they said this one, and this happens to me a lot. I'm looking for a specific place, and they brought the example. You're going to the park, and then there's this weird road that has no name because it's so small. If you tap it, it will highlight that road, it will show its name, and then it will highlight how you got there based on, I guess, directions that it's going to assume or you put in. So, like I said, I think it's just trying to be the best mapping solution. It's taking live traffic. It wants to be Google wants to be the first one you go to, and I don't think Apple needs to compete in this field. I don't think they need to, because Maps is so hard as it is. Why take the 8-year a handicap and just just stop? Just we lost this. Let's make a better product that uses Google Maps.
I think Apple wants to create the best, not the best, but a very passable, very serviceable navigation system for its iPhone. The average user who buys the iPhone, they need a GPS application in it. And if Apple Maps can fit the bill, then great. But I don't think they are looking to do anything near what Google is doing here.
Okay, and this is, if I can put a little item on my wish list, I want Google Maps to alert me to turns that it thinks I'm going to miss based on previous mistakes that I've made, or
how fast you're going.
Stuff like that, and tell me maybe that maybe I always on Wednesdays I always go to the dry cleaner and then I go to the bank, and if I go the other way around I save 2 miles of driving or something.
But it does do that. It does tell me at 5 o'clock you're going to the gym or you're going to the park. At 8 a.m. it does tell me here's work, and at 3 p.m. it says here's home, and here's Costco when I go to Costco a lot.
Yeah, it already does that with Google Now. On Friday afternoon, I get a Google Now card telling me what new movies are coming out, and it tells me how long it's going to take me to get to the movie theater.
Interesting. Okay, so
now, when I do have
want to see Spider-Man 4.
I do have a question. When it prompts that, so does it know that you search for movies on Fridays to go see, or is it just saying it's Friday, you're probably going to want to go see a movie?
Yeah, it is based on my previous behavior because I usually look for a movie, what's out, and read up reviews on a Friday afternoon. So before I even ask for it, it shows it to me. So
And
that's what they're selling.
so that sounds cool. And just let me put this out there. What is the benefit of that you didn't have to type in movies? I mean, isn't that what it saved you those keystrokes?
I wrote a or actually yesterday, called Google's Now problem, and it's strictly from my experience with Google Now on the iPhone. And part of it, I'm sure, is because I don't use it nearly as much or as in depth as I probably could be. But Google Now to me seems like the Trojan horse for Google to really infect a system. And I mean that in a positive way. Google Now right now doesn't show me what I need when I need it. So, for example, I leave the house. I need to go, to the train station. It should know you're on your way. It's 5:30 in the morning. You're on your way to the train station. Here's a list of the train times. It doesn't do that right now. Same thing if I'm on.
No, it does.
But not.
I've had that do that for me, Harry. I mean, I have.
Not for me. For some reason, it's not doing it for me.
That's because it reads Curious Rat, and it knows that
Yes,
you are.
You have to go into the settings and really play with it if you haven't done it yet.
I didn't play with it much, and it's been good with me. And
see, I did play with it, and I turned everything on, and I configured everything. I think I fixed something today, so it's doing it a lot better. But basically, what I'm saying is there. Let me run the scenario by you and see what you think, because it's not doing any of this for me. But okay, so for example, let's say I have a list in Google Keep of things I need to pick up at the grocery store. It would be cool if Google Now read that and said, "You're on your way home. Don't forget to pick up milk, eggs, and butter on your way home," kind of thing, because it saw my list in Google Keep. But also,
I think it'd be cool if it said, "You're getting milk, eggs, and butter. Are you baking a cake? Here's a cake. It's your wife's birthday." Maybe.
Yes.
That's what we're pushing towards. We want Google to know to remember what we would not even remember that we forgot.
All right. So here's one. Let's say on a sunny day, anytime it's sunny, I walk from Penn Station to my office. Google sees that because the GPS is always on. It sees that I'm walking at a pace of a mile an hour or whatever, and I stop in a coffee shop on a different day, every day a different coffee shop. The next time I go to Penn Station, it pops up cards for all the local coffee shops near Penn Station, or that I would want to stop in on my route it's sunny. When it's sunny. And then if it's raining and it knows that anytime the weather it's been raining in the area, I take the subway, it automatically pops up a list of all the subway times for the E-train, that kind of thing. That's really what I'm hoping for eventually.
Okay. All right. So I'm excited to hear what Haim is going to tell me next about the unification of the Google messaging services, when I can get them, because I don't know right now. I just knew that something was going to happen. Haim, what happened? How am I going to contact you going forward? Is it still Google Chat? What am I going to do?
Well, currently, for everyone who doesn't know, I'm a big proponent, actually, of Facebook Messenger. I really do enjoy Facebook Messenger, mainly because it's the closest to, you get read receipts, you know that it's reliable, it's cross-platform, it's on the browser, it's single notification, all these great things. Well, Google Messenger, Google Talk, all these Google Talk products have been merged into something called Google Hangouts, and it's different than what we're doing, but not really. So the idea of talking is that you're going to start a message, and it should replicate that Facebook Messenger status. So you send a message, it goes to your device, it goes to your phone, it goes to your presumably glass, it goes to your computer, and then if you see it once, it should mark it as read everywhere else. And so far, there's a few bugs. It's on my end, it's working. Harry says that if he starts it on one, it doesn't go to the other. But I have a feeling the servers need to calm down a bit, and then it will start working.
Whoa! What if I start what on what? It goes to what, Harry?
Well, that's what we don't know yet.
If I start a message on the phone in Hangouts, and I go to my Mac where I have the Chrome extension installed, or even if I'm on the Google Plus page, it doesn't carry that conversation over, so there's no syncing up just yet. but if I start a conversation on the Mac, I'll see it appear on my phone. It's a weird one-way situation.
Yeah, I think it's just teething problems, so to speak. I think eventually it will work the way we hope it it will. Right now, I've noticed some weird anomalies like that. Sometimes it would show up on my Chrome extension, sometimes not, and vice versa.
Wait, are you guys talking about SMS? What are we talking about here? Starting a conversation through Google Talk?
It's
So-
their new Hangouts, their talk interface, their chat interface.
It
Yeah,
does
Google
use
Talk-
Jabber, by the way.
Right,
I
Google
have it on
Talk has now been
Messenger.
renamed. Yeah.
Okay, so I haven't even, I guess I haven't done that yet or something. I haven't gotten that functionality yet. I will have to look more closely at it.
But the other issue is that it's Chrome. I think it's Chrome only on the computer. You have to install a Chrome extension, which is, again, another hook into we really want you to use Chrome.
Right, I've noticed that Google is relying more and more on Chrome rather than stuff that's cross-browser compatible.
Which goes against their whole belief of, we want this to be cross-platform kind of thing. Well, yeah, it is cross-platform, but it's tied to Chrome.
If Chrome runs on every platform, they've actually, I think, fulfilled their promise, frankly. I mean, just like if it's a virtual machine, if it's it gets the job done. Okay, so I thought we were going to have to spend more time on this advanced messaging platform. Let's bring a couple of other things in here. One is, does this mean that iMessage is going to have to be opened up for the world at large? And two, does anyone give a crap at this point that BlackBerry Messenger is going to find its way to Android and iOS, especially in the context of Google's announcement today at iOS? I'm sorry, at I/O.
I don't think BlackBerry Messenger on any platform at this stage of the game matters. I think it is completely irrelevant.
I would give one use case, and that's encryption end-to-end, where BlackBerry, unlike Apple, which came out last week saying, police, you have to wait your turn, the messaging service is encrypted end-to-end very well and bulletproof.
Actually, so is iMessage.
But Apple is somehow requesting subpoenas where BlackBerry said, we can't do anything. So I understand that Apple is good with that, and I commend them for that. But it sounds like they may have a backdoor.
The type of encryption that BlackBerry Messenger relies upon to make it so that BlackBerry itself, in some, I think, some very specific instances, can't decrypt the messages is based on a piece of hardware in the BlackBerry devices, something that can't be duplicated through software. And I don't know if any of you can answer that for sure.
But I don't think it matters how it's encrypted anymore, because most Fortune 500s have switched over or are in the process of switching over from BlackBerry, and consumers have given up on BlackBerry. So this whole messaging thing, if you have an iPhone, you already have iMessage built in, and a lot of people have iPhones. If you have Android, you already have, or you will get Hangouts installed. You know that you have ways to communicate that don't require BBM anymore.
Okay.
I agree with you. If 5 years ago I would have said BBM on Android would have been a great thing. Now I don't care, because all my friends who used to use BBM are no longer using BlackBerry devices. So
yeah, I think Facebook Messenger is more relevant than BBM.
I agree.
Is this the sound of can you hear the death knell for SMS now? Between, if you're on any smart, this I guess is pushing the carriers into a corner kind of. As long as you're on a smartphone, you're not going to need to use SMS to do one-off text communications and get read receipts and stuff. Right? I mean, those days are numbered.
Yeah, there are some people I know who don't have iPhones. They have Android phones, but they don't really use anything except SMS. They don't know to use, or they don't think to use Facebook Messenger. I don't think they would install Hangouts unless someone pointed them in the direction. So for them, I think SMS is still very relevant. But for all of my family and most of my friends, everyone's got an iPhone, so it's all iMessage all the time.
I did notice one thing when I installed and ran Hangouts for the first time on my phone. It asked to verify my phone number. So I'm thinking it does have some kind of SMS gateway somewhere. So if you were to chat with someone that didn't have a Hangouts account, it would transmit that by SMS. I'm just theorizing. I haven't tested that, but that's the only reason I can think of that they asked to verify my phone number.
Jaime, are you let down by what they announced messenger wise, or did this fit the bill for you? Because I'm at this point I'm looking at what I'm missing out on, and I'm not super thrilled with it.
Well, we just haven't figured out how to make it work. I want to move off Facebook Messenger. I want this unification because I live in Google Talk every day. I want people to contact me there. So if I can unify that where I'm on my computer, when I'm sitting on the couch, I don't want to have my iPad to look at the big screen and then my phone for Google Messenger. I want one unified thing, and I think that this is it. You can hang out from it. You can post pictures. You can probably post with the stupid Facebook stickers in there.
I think
you can hang out a moment. I think it's great.
I think the next time someone makes a first world problems meme, they should get rid of that blonde woman and put you on this episode saying, "When I'm watching my big screen TV with my iPad, I don't want to have to switch applications." Okay, all right. I think
and I'm mad that Glass cannot realize what I'm doing and then send the message to the person, but that's a different story.
Okay, so before we get into hardware, I want to figure out whether or not Google seems to be really has decided that iOS is going to be one of the major platforms for its software, because it seems like every kind of niche that Google is in, mobile-wise, it's Android and iOS. Is that accurate, or is Android still getting preferential treatment? Because it doesn't seem to me that.
Well, if you look at Maps, iOS had what Android got today.
Okay.
In terms of layout, but look, they're not stupid. iOS is a major source of ad revenue for them, so they're going to come out with everything for iOS that they can.
And Peter and Haim, is that the case? Do you think that Google has decided that iOS is not going to be a second-class citizen, that they have more to gain by getting people on Apple's hardware into the Google ecosystem than kind of pushing them towards Android by not making iOS a good place to use Google+?
Sure. I mean, I think that's kind of been their modus operandi for the last 12 to 18 months. They've really pushed iOS apps quite a bit. And in fact, I think several months ago there were a whole bunch of articles about people that have an iOS device, but all they use are Google apps on there. So
we did a podcast on that.
Okay.
Oh, did you? Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So in the 8 or so minutes that we have left, let's do hardware. First, Haim, you'll probably know this incredibly well. What did you miss out on getting swag-wise by having to stay in New Jersey for this I/O?
Well, I missed out on a Chromebook Pixel, which on a deep down I would love to have. I would love to have a Chromebook Pixel. But on the other hand, how many more screens do I need? Like honestly, I have a Chromebook, I have a MacBook, a fledgling, is that the right word? Fledgling MacBook Pro. I have my Google Glass, my Nexus 7.
Listeners and viewers, Haim means the opposite of the word fledgling. Fledgling means new, and he's talking about an old.
Yeah, very old. So okay. I actually like what they did, because what they did is they said, this is not a toy store. We're going to give you something that you actually can use and should use. And it's not like, oh, I'm gonna cannibalize, I'm gonna sell this, I'm gonna keep this. That's what I felt like the other IOs were doing. You were getting so many things. Here is one really expensive, really nice thing that they're hoping that you're going to use and you're going to enjoy. I mean, I played with the Pixel. I think it's gorgeous. I agree with all the reviews. It's the best laptop you've played with, but it's just limited for its cost.
Okay, so what was
you use apps?
Okay, were there any hardware announcements that stuff that we can anticipate coming from Google? Am I finally going to be able to buy a Google tablet? I mean, I'm thinking of it, or do I have to wait for next year's I/O? What did they announce hardware-wise?
Other than the new Samsung, the new Galaxy S4 with stock Android, there really wasn't any hardware announced.
Their phones come out. It's like Apple. They do a fall, like November show where they introduce that.
Okay, and
I have a feeling in November we're going to see something.
So besides the kind of Xcode for Android, were there any other developer-only the perks that were announced? Are there any other APIs that they're opening up, or any other avenues for developers to get into the Google ecosystem?
So the one thing that they did announce was more desktop-like features for Chrome are coming to Android. And they did a really cool demo with a 3D game based on Lord of the Rings that they ran both on the Pixel and on a Nexus 10. And the same game ran just fine on both platforms. So I think that's one thing that developers can look forward to. They can make one app that runs in Chrome in both platforms.
Oh, okay. So this is the operating system now for Chrome. Chrome is the operating is like replacing Java as a virtual machine. It sounds like if you write things for Chrome. All right, Haim. Any other crumbs that we should pick up? Any other tidbits that we missed from I/O?
Larry Page at the end, I thought it was very nice of him to get up and to say, "Hey, I'm here. Let me tell you what I believe in and where we're going." And it felt really from the heart. And I think that was a nice way to close.
It was also bullshit, but
I don't
sorry,
know
I didn't
about
mean to go. So, yeah, I'll bleep that out. But yeah, it was nonsense. The whole, as Gruber said on Daring Fireball today, kumbaya. They're a business.
I trust the guy. I guess I'm an idiot.
Facts are facts. Google has no interest in being a everybody can play kind of company. They are very much interested in becoming the sole solution for a lot of people. They
have a fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders.
They want the lion's share, if not the entire share of the pie. And I found it very hypocritical that it's not an us versus them kind of thing. Meanwhile, how many digs did they take at Apple during the keynote? So don't tell me that you're all about giving everybody equal opportunity and that everybody needs to come together. But Apple Maps isn't as accurate. Like, give me a break.
Okay, so I teased at the top of the show that, Harry, you were going to give us the horror story that you anticipate for, let's just say, Google I/O 2095, year 2095. We'll get into conspiracy theories now. Page mentioned potentially sequencing DNA, and as moving into biotechnology and coupling that with Google's interest in driverless cars and stuff. Harry, are you going to eventually write a novel about Google taking over the world?
It's already been written. In terms of what really creeps me out, in that Larry Page wants an island with unregulated experimentation. So I anticipate Island of Dr. Moreau kind of stuff between the DNA sequencing and whatnot. He is going to go absolutely crazy. He's going to self-driving cars, self-mutilating cars. Who the hell knows? It's going to be absolutely insane. But he wants a slice of the world where he can just test anything he wants. And I don't know. That really creeps me out. There's that creepy line that Eric Schmidt talked about.
And they're now there, and maybe so the Google drones thing that'll come out in I/O next year. So Hyman, Peter, will you sign up to be experimented on this island?
Absolutely. No, actually, no.
They're going to implant Google Glass right into your eye.
Yeah, right into my
Hyman's going to say yes and be serious.
No, but I am serious. I do trust Google. I mean, for the most part. I mean, I'm not going to sign my life away now, but if something was cool. I do have Glass. I am trusting them.
Okay. All right. Well, next year we'll see whether or not Google has taken over our lives at I/O. Okay. This has been episode 90.